guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back for another self-care Sunday. I feel like I need to keep doing the intro because I keep having more and more people. I don't know what this whole little groove thing is. I feel like Lionel Richie just okay. I feel like I need to do the little intro because the subscribers keep coming, so thank you. Self-care Sunday is a day that we take out almost every week to just sit down. I'll typically review a deep conditioner. Today, I'm just doing an entire routine that I've already done before and I already have a review on because I have some things that I want to discuss with you guys and I don't want to be distracted by trying to think about how a product feels and works, right? So sometimes we get, you know, a little political, sometimes we get a little deep, we tend to get personal over here. So if all of that sounds like your cup of tea, then just hang out and keep on watching. So grab your coffee, grab your hair products. We have a lot to talk about. So today is Saturday. Obviously, if it's Saturday, that means that I put up my pattern review yesterday. I'm not washing out my hair for any other reason than one, I don't usually work Sundays and I'm working today when you guys are watching this video. So I wanted to go ahead and get it up because I had a lot of things to get off of my chest. I also don't know what the rest of my weekly schedule looks like. So I want to go ahead and have my hair shampooed before I go back to work because y'all know me, work, heat, sweat, all that good stuff. But I did want to give you guys an update on the pattern products, the curl gel and the stronghold gel. So I will put a little like clip next to me of like my day 2 hair, which looked really great. Before I went to bed, just out of curiosity, I took like pea-size amounts of this curl gel and just put it on different pieces just to see how it would act on dry hair and see how it would do refreshing. And this was beautiful. Like it refreshed my curls beautifully. It made them bounce right back. This side I felt still looked amazing. It was, again, super moisturized. It held up in the humidity because I was outside with my mom gardening yesterday, but it has that feeling of like if you use Uncle Funky's or Curl Maker, you know when you go outside, your hair might feel like a tad bit damp, and then when you come back inside, it resets and it's like nothing ever happened. So it didn't disturb any of my definition. It didn't poof up my hair or anything, but this does play with the humidity in the air. I found that the Stronghold didn't really play with the humidity in the air as much as the other one does. But remember, I did say that this one was more moisturizing. So this one, it played with the humidity a little bit, but not much. And my hair pretty much looked exactly the same. The only thing was that I did lose a little bit of the shine on day 2. So my hair was still moisturized. It didn't feel dry. I could still feel the hold from the gel, but it just lost a little bit of the luster that the gel naturally has on the second day. I think the next time I use this, because the next time I use these, I'm going to just do a full wash and go with one, then use it again and do a full wash and go with another. I think the next time I use this, I might put a little bit of oil on top of my leave-in conditioner. It will probably lessen the hold a little bit, but I think it'll boost the shine a little bit. My hair didn't look dry. It didn't feel dry. It just lost a little bit of its luster. So, and that can tend to happen with me for certain Stronghold gels. Like I had the same thing happen with my wet line gel, except that one gets gunky and disgusting and nasty on day 2, no matter how little product I use. So, I much prefer this. And I felt like, especially when I went to go like wash my hair out, sis was moisturized. Like the moisture was there. My hair feels really good just after shampooing. So there's that. Today to shampoo, I use my Adwoa Baomint shampoo. Y'all know I love this shampoo. It's so good. I'm still drafting up that shampoo video, so I can't say when it will be up, but just know I am working on one, but I want to make sure it's as thorough as possible. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I'm going to be using the Tahiti cocktail collection because it's hot, it's humid, and y'all know this is like summertime love. So first I'm going to go in with the Tahiti cocktail 4 Butter Moisture Correct Overnight Mask. I'm not going to use it overnight though. I'm just going to sit underneath my deep conditioning cap. So I'm hoping that I don't forget to mention anything in this video that has been on my mind, because I feel like whenever I turn on the camera, I get forgetful. But there's just a lot that I want to talk about. I guess this kind of is like another accountability video, but just on a different topic. And there's my hair, by the way. She looks good. She looks good. So honestly, these last couple, honestly, like the last month with everything that's been going on, I really have just kind of been feeling away. And I really had to sit down and think about, what is it that is making me so upset? Especially in regards to some of the requests that I get. And honestly, sometimes it's like, they're not requests, they're demands. And I just want to say this first, like, I love you guys a lot and y'all know that, but sometimes I don't think some of you guys realize how you sound when you ask me questions. And if you don't think that this applies to you, then it probably doesn't apply to you. Because some of you, I have certain things I'm going to talk about because like you've asked me certain questions, and I felt like it was good to like acknowledge in this video. But just know, if you're one of those people that I told you I would acknowledge it in Self-Care Sunday, you're not the person I'm talking about at this very moment. But sometimes you guys make demands in a way that is kind of demeaning. And I don't think some of you guys realize how you sound. And when you get a response from me, you don't like my response. And understand this, like, unless you're saying something absolutely disgusting, like, I'm not gonna sit there and cuss you out or anything. Like, I'm just not that type of person. And if I do get really crazy, like, I'm the type of person that as soon as I realize, oh shit, I was wrong, I'm gonna apologize to you. But sometimes I have to be a little bit more firm with some of you guys, because you don't realize how you sound when you make requests. And I've also had to acknowledge why some of the things that some people have demanded of me have really bothered me. And first of all, I will say this. I think part of the reason why I am so upset just in general is because I'm pissed off that this is where we are. Like, I'm happy that we have so much change going on right now. It feels like people are actually listening. But at the same time, like, part of me is just like, this should have ended with Philando Castile. Like, we shouldn't have to keep watching the same victimization constantly, you know, with no change. And I guess I'll never forget when I saw that footage, and just not only the reality of what happened, but seeing his daughter, you know, trying to comfort her mom, and she's only like this big, you know, to me, I will never, ever, ever, ever understand why that alone wasn't enough, you know? And it's probably a good thing that I can't understand, because I feel like you have to have a certain level of coldness or hatred in your heart for that video to not have been the point where you said, this is freaking enough, you know? You have to have a level of desensitization to just general humanity for you to have been able to look at that video and not say, you know what, enough is a damn enough. And so I think that in general has really been frustrating me. I think a lot of what really frustrates me too, and what I'm really starting to recognize is, and don't feel like I'm saying this as someone who's like, oh, I've been woke, you know, like, I'm not one of those people. I'm not a hotep, okay? I'm not somebody who is going to look at someone who's just now catching on and be like, oh, I'm so much better than you, because, you know, I'm not that type of person. Anyone who has done any type of activism, whether you've done it as a career or you just do it because it's something that you're passionate about, a lot of times, for the majority of the time that you're doing that activism, you're going to be walking somewhat alone. There will be a few people who will hear you and feel you and support you in your activism, but to an extent, you will be walking alone. That's the life of activism. That's the reality, and that is what you take on as you continue to work in activism. My feelings are not coming from an activism perspective, but coming from the perspective as someone who, at this point, I have to acknowledge that YouTube has become somewhat of a career for me, right? The FedEx guy just drove down the street. How dare he do his job? How dare he? I have to acknowledge where I am as someone who is considered an influencer, and someone who undoubtedly now has made like a small career in this, and with the support of you guys, which I greatly appreciate, it will continue to grow. I don't see myself not being on YouTube anytime soon unless, you know, something tragic happens. And Lord knows we are not going to will that in 2020, because 2020 already been coming for us hard. So I have to acknowledge where I am in this. And I feel like because I have to acknowledge this, there are some things that I need to get off of my chest as someone who does this and someone who has been focusing on Black brands and Black issues since she started her channel. So first of all, one of my newcomers, hi boo, Lauren, I think, has been asking me if I'm going to bring Black-owned business highlights back. And, you know, it's funny because, Lauren, you are like the only person that's been asking for them to come back. And I was happy to see someone actually asking for it. Now, part of the reason why I stopped doing them just in general was because I felt like eventually, just with my personal preferences, the things that I know that you guys like, and look for, I felt like it kind of got a little redundant, you know what I mean? Because especially reviewing a lot of these Black-owned brands, a lot of them don't have a ton of products, you know? Like, you have, obviously, like your Soultanicals and your Product Junkie Naturals and, you know, Honey's Handmade, where you have owners that like to be super duper creative and they launch a lot of new things all the time. But then you have brands like Curl Origin, who's just really now starting to expand their line, and Unicurl, who is just now really starting to expand her line, and the brand is very young. When you do videos on companies like that, it's basically like you're already doing a Black-owned business highlight, you know, just without the title. In a lot of ways, I kind of felt like doing Black-owned business highlights and then doing the one brand reviews got kind of redundant, and especially because when I really love something, it also pops up in a lot of favorites videos. I tend to talk about a lot of the same products, even though I'm always talking about new things too, and I'm always finding something that I am very impressed with. I tend to talk about a lot of the same things, and so for me, it just kind of felt a little bit redundant. But not only that, but while many of you enjoy those videos and really appreciated those videos, and I put you on to some really good stuff, I also kind of got tired of the complaints, because it's one of those things where, you know, you can't please everybody, right? And I've spoken so many times on why Black-owned businesses tend to be more expensive. You know, it just, at this point, I feel like it's not something that I should have to explain anymore. Period. Eventually that got tiring. And then when I would introduce Black-owned brands who were not as expensive, then there were complaints about that. And it just got to the point where I was just tired of kind of filtering it out, and I kind of just wanted to do my own thing and just continue to explore Black-owned businesses You know, I came on this channel caring about Black people, and I have continued to do that. But understand that for me, a lot of it doesn't need to be performative, because to me, when you really care about something, you're not going to keep trying to prove and prove and prove that you care about something. You just do it, you know? And that's how I am. I just do it. I'm not gonna sit here and try to get credit for doing something. I'm not gonna sit here and try to pretend like I'm doing something that someone isn't. I'm just gonna do it because that's what feels right to me. And so that's pretty much the reason why they've been gone. And honestly, no one has asked for them to come back, really. And I think, you know, I've thought about bringing them back from time to time, because when I started my channel, they were some of my favorite videos to do, because I love putting on Black people. But it also kind of started to make me sad, because over the years, as these things have continued to happen within the community, I will get a spike in my Black-owned business highlights only when there's a new hashtag. Only when we get wind of another brutal murder of a Black person. And to me, that's kind of depressing, because we shouldn't only be seeking out other Black people and other Black brands after somebody dies, you know? We should be doing that just, you know, already. And I'm not talking about people who can't afford it. There are some people who genuinely cannot afford it, and that is okay. I've spoken a lot about, you know, wage gaps, there, you know, disparities and access to stores. You know, you may not be able to get access to certain things if you live in the boonies. And some people like think that I'm reaching, but I'm just like, clearly some of you guys have never lived in the country. You know, like, we can talk about, you know, wanting people to only buy Black, or, you know, there's just a Black beauty supply store. But if that Black beauty supply store is 4 hours away and you don't have a car, that person is not going. And I'm not going to be mad at them for it, you know? Those aren't the people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about this community of product junkies who will buy 10 of the same product and don't need it, but then turn around and be mad at somebody for charging their worth, you know? So it literally makes me sad, because literally every time I see a spike in those views on those videos, it's around the time where we have a new hashtag. And for some reason, it just got to the point where I was like, I kind of don't want to do them anymore, because when they gain popularity, it's for a very sad reason. And I want to encourage more Black people to buy Black owned when they can, simply because, you know, like, that's what we should be doing, and that is what we should want to be doing. And we shouldn't be waiting for people to die at the hands of cops for us to make these decisions, you know? And listen, not everybody is going to be on that wave, but a lot of us, especially a lot of us in this natural hair community, know better at this point. And that's where I'll get to just kind of being frustrated with a lot of the demands that I've gotten recently. And trust me, I've deleted a lot of them. I'm sorry, y'all. The level of can't get anything done in this house is just crazy. Also, this is just sinking in. I forgot how good this is. I haven't used it in a hot minute. Ooh, let me catch my breath. But as I was saying, and I've deleted a lot of those comments because they have not been questions, they have been demands. And understand, sis got a job. I work hard to do this. I already spend several hours a day with people who have absolutely no authority telling me what to do. I'm not gonna do it here. Not in my happy place. But I've had a lot of people demand of me to do targeted Black-owned videos. that I need to, you know, do this and do that. And my response to that is, instead of worrying about me, why aren't you questioning people who have been on YouTube for 8 to 10 plus years and have not done a single video specifically highlighting Black-owned brands or Black-owned businesses? I just want to know. And I'm kind of taking a little lap around getting to my overall point, but many of you don't ask this of me because I've been done it. And y'all know, again, I'm not a performative person. If I'm performing, I'm gonna have a violin in my hand and I'm gonna be getting down to some Vivaldi or something. I'm not about to be out here doing things that are performative. And understand this, just because someone puts up a targeted Black-owned, you know, video right now, doesn't necessarily mean that they're pandering. I have really enjoyed Akia from A Love For Me series on Black-owned brands because she's so genuine. And I feel like she added something to that I personally didn't feel like I could have added on my channel. Everyone does things differently. Everyone has different flexes, but I really just question why I'm not seeing the same energy underneath people's videos who have been on YouTube for 8 to 10 plus years and have not cared whether they shop Black or not. Y'all don't have the same energy for people who have been on social media basically saying they're only going to use white-owned brands because they pay more. Y'all haven't had that same energy. And the same people who have said this crap are the people now who are trying to sit around and cry and be quote-unquote leaders of this movement. When in actuality, a big part of the reason why we are here is because of that attitude. And for me, it is important because, I mean, it's simple. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I feel like as someone who is an influencer, it is my job to not just sell shit. It's my job to keep you guys informed, to stand up for you guys when the time comes, to, you know, keep you guys aware of the movement, but also be a place of solitude for those of you who have really been struggling with this, because the majority of us here on this channel are Black, and we are experiencing a lot of hurt. We're experiencing a lot of anger. And so I don't just want to inundate you with images and discussion of things that are already hurting you. I want to give you guys useful information without just making you feel even more depressed, if that makes sense. And I feel like that is my job as an influencer. And I feel like I have done that to the best of my ability in a way that is genuine to me since I picked up a camera and started this channel. Because like I said, when I came on, I already had intentions of only, you know, mostly sharing Black brands. I've had ideas for charity stuff, which I still have ideas for that. And I think we're finally getting close to that, like, milestone. Like, I think as soon as we get to 5K, I'll be able to make enough revenue on a video to actually do something with that money, you know? So there is that. But I talk about this because, you know, I'm seeing a lot of these videos pop up. A lot of people are claiming, oh, this was really hard for me to do. A lot of people don't know who was Black owned and who's not. And I'm trying to figure out how you've been working with these brands for years and you don't know who owns it. And I think the thing that pissed me off the most, this is the thing that really made me mad, was a lot of these videos who are donating AdSense revenue to charities. And when you typically watch some of these people's videos, there are 5 to 6 ads on the video, sometimes more. And when you go click on this video for, you know, that revenue, either all of it or 50% of it is going to a cause, there's like 1 ad, maybe 2. Something about that just really pissed me off because, and listen, yes, charity is charity, but if you can go out of your way to put 50,000 ads on a video for yourself, and I don't knock that, make your money, boo, because at the end of the day, I don't think any of us should be working for free. We make money for these brands. We should be getting back that money. I don't believe in working for free. And a lot of us sometimes work for free for years before we can actually get our AdSense. And so when I saw that, I was livid. And I think it's because I expect white people to be on some other ish. I don't expect them to just automatically be for the culture. I don't expect them to not necessarily pull an okie doke, okay? There is some behavior that I expect from white people. There's some behavior that at this point in 2020, we just shouldn't be seeing from Black folks. And we need to talk about it because we have focused a lot on other people in terms of discussing this movement, and I'm all for that. But we also need to be talking to each other and also holding each other accountable. And holding someone accountable is having actual meaningful conversation, not hopping in their comment sections and being an ass. Just let me be clear about that, because some of you guys think that you're holding us accountable, but you're actually being bullies. That's not the same thing. You can hold someone accountable without being a bully. Now, if they try you, that's a whole nother situation. If you gotta let the Amanda Seals out of you a little bit, then, you know, that's fine. We've all been in situations where we have had to do that. It is okay to have to be firm with people, but you do not get to bully people. Because at the end of the day, if you're bullying someone into submission, then it don't really count, you know? That's not learned behavior. That's not understood behavior. They're just doing it because they're a little scared of you, you know? That's not what we want here. We want actual direct change. And so I'm seeing this, and I've talked to a lot of, you know, some of my YouTube friends about this. Some of my friends who are close with a lot of influencers. I've talked to my boo Xavier about this. And I think the thing that I am starting to realize is, one, when people show you who they are, believe them. It's not hard to come up with a natural hair routine that's all Black owned. I mean, this entire video right now is a full wash day with all Black owned brands. The majority of what I have on my shelf is Black owned or Black founded. I would say pretty much like, yeah, like I have that one small corner of stuff that's just like a hodgepodge of things. But like, aside from that, pretty much everything that's sitting in front of me right now, with the exception of like 3 brands, and everything on my shelf is Black owned or Black founded. It's not hard. And it really isn't hard to find brands that are 100% Black owned either, if you pay attention. I'm trying to figure out how you can consider yourself an influencer and not know who you're working with. I don't think that you can. And a lot of people take the bait on that. And if you don't know, there's tons of videos. You can look it up. You can talk to your other YouTube friends. We help each other out all the time. It's not that hard. Stop pandering to your Black audience as a Black person. It's gross. It's demeaning. And at the end of the day, it just makes you look not very smart. I'm just being honest. To be able to pad your pockets, but not being willing to go hard enough to raise as much money as you possibly can for a good cause, I have questions about that. If you haven't managed to find any other Black-owned brand aside from the few Black-owned brands that you've been using for the last 10 years, I question that. And there are a lot of Black people who are simply putting up these videos to get your views and pad their pockets. And understand this, and I think this is also why I've been very careful and treading lightly with what I post, because I refuse to profit off of your pain. I'm not about to sit here and profit off of my people's pain. If I'm gonna make a video about this stuff, I'm gonna give y'all all the education and information that I possibly can, and you guys know this. I'm not about to sit here and make a video profiting off of you guys' pain. I have no interest in it. Because what a lot of these young women fail to realize is that, yeah, it may feel good being on top now, but you know, 100,000 subscribers is only gonna get you so far. I've seen people hit 100K and say stupid stuff, and then now they can't get 3,000 views on the video. So just because you secured numbers doesn't mean that you have secured a bag, and it doesn't mean that you will continue to secure a bag. What I also want to discuss, and I think, let me do this because I'm almost done. I think this is a good stopping point for now, because obviously I'm going to do my entire head because I have a lot of things I want to talk about, including finishing this up and also talking about the main choice, because Courtney out here making history. So I'm going to go ahead and, she got enough product? Yeah, she got enough product. I am going to twist this piece up. I'm gonna put this plastic cap on, go sit up underneath the hooded dryer, probably for like 25-30 minutes. I'm gonna rinse my hair and come back, and we'll do styling, and I will finish up my final points on this, and then we'll talk about a couple of other things that are a little bit more happy. I know, honey. I'm sorry. Those of you who are new and haven't met Ellie, she is here, she's chilling. I just had to evict her from my chair because she went and sat down in my chair and didn't want to get up, so. Anyway, before we move on, check the moisture, check the moisture. My hair feels so good. It was definitely like due for a deep conditioning. So even though that pattern heavy conditioner, I always miss this spot. Like, I just don't, I'm just not flexible, I guess, but the pattern heavy conditioner did a really good job considering. So I'm just going to continue to talk and do my wash and goes like I always do. So of course I'm using the other products from the Tahiti cocktail collection, well, the wash and go products. So I'm just going to lay my leave-in down first, go around my whole head with the leave-in, which is dope, and then put the curl enhancing jelly custard in. So let's get back to what I was saying. So I believe I left off, you know, just speaking on the whole, just the things that I've noticed with some of these larger influencers, kind of, you know, putting out these videos and being disingenuous in their intentions, and not being honest about, you know, their true encounters with Black-owned brands. And it's just so funny to me because, you know, you see some of these people getting this PR from Black-owned companies and they never show it. God knows what they do with it, but when it comes time to do a video on Black-owned businesses, all of a sudden you can't find Black-owned products to use. Y'all know I'm very much of a logical person. Obviously I deal in my feelings. I'm a Scorpio. I am a Libra Scorpio cusp with a Gemini moon. I am all in my feelings all the time. So obviously there's that, but that leads me to talk about our relationship in the community with smaller influencers, because I feel like just in general, and I think overall this is why I've kind of been frustrated, is because as a community, you guys tend to put a lot of weight on us smaller YouTubers when it comes to promoting Blackness, Black brands, Black businesses, Black anything. There's a high expectation there, and understand that I am very much aware that many of us go into this with that emphasis on Black owned brands. I would say a good portion of, you know, my YouTube friends here have gone into doing this wanting to showcase Black owned businesses, you know. It wasn't just about them, but wanting to be a part of this community and, you know, figure out our hair with a community of people who look like us, but also putting on other entities that look like us, right? And so I'm acknowledging that, right? I'm completely aware of this, but just as a community, we are overwhelmingly looked at as people who are supposed to overtly promote Blackness, where those who have larger voices and larger followings and far more connections than we smaller influencers do aren't held to the same standard. And if anything, that standard should be higher. And I think that's where a lot of those things come from. And I think a lot of that comes from this mentality that, well, I watch you because, you know, you're not getting all this money and all this stuff from brands, so you must be honest. And y'all already know how I feel about that. Like, I feel like dishonesty can go both ways. Just because you're being super positive about things all the time doesn't necessarily mean that you're lying. And just because you're being very negative about a lot of things all the time doesn't necessarily mean that you're being honest. There are a whole lot of people who will intentionally misuse products and do things that they know aren't right because they know that negativity automatically gains views. It just is what it is. I can put up a video about not liking something and it'll get far more views than something that like I genuinely love and rave about. I already know this. And even though I'm being completely honest on both sides, I know some people don't care about that level of honesty. So first of all, it's kind of a myth that if you're not getting put on, then you must be honest, because there are tons of people out here who are building their platforms and making a lot of money off of being dishonest by telling you that everything is garbage, when in actuality, they're just going out of their way to tell you that everything's garbage because they know that you'll believe them because they said something mean and negative, right? So already, like, I full well know that that is a myth. Not everybody on here, regardless of how many followers they have, regardless of how much money they have, not everyone who is on this platform is honest. And that's just life, y'all. You're always going to encounter people who are amazing and kind and sweet. And you're always going to encounter people who are just straight up not truthful people. They are in this for themselves. They could care less about the community. That's just, you know, you're always going to encounter people like that. And that's just part of life, right? Again, you know, it's like you have certain expectations, but you always have to, and I'm the same way too. I think it's really hard when you have these really great views about certain people, and then you find out things that you're just like, well, damn, you know, it's like, like every Black man that has exposed himself in 2020, right? Like, I never thought that I would be just so annoyed every time Terry Crews opened his mouth, but yet here we are. So that's just a fact of life. Not everybody is going to be good. Not everyone is going to be honest. But oftentimes we get pigeonholed as smaller creators into this whole, oh, well, I support you basically because you're not really making money. Like, when it comes down to that statement, that's what you're saying. Like, you're saying you support me because you equate my honesty with not making money for doing a really good job, you know? And at the end of the day, I don't think the majority of you guys would be okay with doing this much work and not getting paid for it. And that's why not everybody is a YouTuber. It's easy to say that anybody could do this, but at the end of the day, not anybody could, because for a good part of your journey, you're not going to be making shit, you know? And I'm the type of person too, like I'm making okay money on YouTube, but I'm putting it all back into my channel, you know? Like if I need to use it to pay a bill, like especially with everything that's been going on with Rona, then I will. But I've padded my savings enough to where I was able to do that and not have to stress, you know? And thank God I don't have to worry about rent, right? So the money that I make on this channel, when you watch an ad, you're directly putting money back into this channel. You're directly putting money into the reviews that you ask for, right? But it goes deeper than that. And I think a big part of the problem is that we don't see YouTube as the network that it is, right? And it baffles me how a lot of you guys will say that you watch us because you perceive us as honest. But when it's time to put us on so that we can get more opportunities, you go put on the other people that you say can't be as honest as we are, you know? Like, that's why whenever, you know, I get an influx of tags from people who are tagging me and letting, you know, other brands know that they want to see me using their products, I'm always so appreciative, because that is the kind of energy that allows us to further network. And I think what a lot of people don't see is that, especially when it comes to smaller creators and smaller Black-owned businesses, it's not just about money. Like, for example, Unicurl. I have a really great relationship with Alexis and just the Unicurl team in general, because for one, those of you who shopped Unicurl when I first started reviewing the brand, you told them like, hey, like I watched this chick's video and it was the most thorough review that I have ever seen. And like, y'all need to put her on, like y'all need to talk to her because she does amazing videos. And when I first spoke to Alexis, she was like, there were so many people who reached out to me just because your review was so good, and they bought so much money, you know, money's worth of product because you said it was good. And a lot of you guys have been Team Unicurl since I've done those videos. But what a lot of people fail to understand too is that when you share our content like that, when you acknowledge our content with brand owners and, you know, whoever does their PR or whatever, you know, talk about us in their DMs, talk about us in their comment sections, you are also helping us to create lasting relationships with brands. And part of the reason why I'm acknowledging this too is because it's not just about getting paid for what you're worth, but when you have a great network of people who are able to do different things, and especially who have a little bit more than you have, it's a lot easier to give back to your community, right? And so it's really frustrating. And I do see some people like my boo Sarah, Bronze Girl with Curls. She says this a lot under people's comment sections when brand owners ask people to, you know, tag your favorite influencer. And a lot of times I see her under there like, you know, y'all are tagging people who have had brand deals with this brand. Tag people that they don't know. I want to see you work with people that you don't know. And that is really important. And that is the type of energy that a lot of us smaller content creators need, because it always baffles me how so many people will swear up and down that there is no way that certain people, and y'all will name them, that these certain people are honest, that they're uppity, that they're bougie, that they're rude. But the moment a brand says tag your favorite YouTuber, you tag them, but you don't tag any of us small guys. Like, tag NJ, tag Talise, tag Quinn, tag Alexis, tag Sheree. You know, like there are so many amazing small Black content creators who give you Black owned content, who give you useful information, you know? There are so many of us out here, but you will go tag people who you swear up and down aren't honest 50,000 times over before you go tag somebody who you claim you trust. And at the end of the day, what you're saying is that I trust you because you don't make money, and therefore I want you to continue not to make money. So you're siphoning all of this energy and essentially brands, funds, and time into people that, first of all, they've been worked with. Like a lot of the times y'all will tag people that they already have brand deals with these companies. But those resources could be going to people who are literally working so hard to put you guys on, to put smaller brands on. And you guys could be making it easier, one, for us to not have to spend all of the money that we make to keep making videos for you, but to also like create lasting, important relationships with these brand owners. Because I don't think a lot of people realize how far that goes, right? I'm gonna move y'all down just a little bit more. Sometimes this tripod drives me crazy. People don't understand how far that goes. And so it just baffles me how we have come to a point where we complain about the big guys, but we don't have enough respect for what the little guys do to help them become one of the big guys that you would like to see. You know what I mean? Because not every big YouTuber is super dishonest and shady. I love Ebony. I love Raina, you know? Like, there are so many great, huge YouTubers out there with big platforms that are doing great things. I love Jackie Aina because I feel like she is the perfect balance of like bougie and relatable, you know? Like, I feel like as bougie as she gets, I feel like she's never really forgotten where she's come from. And she's one of the few large Black creators that I see that, you know, her followers will send her like their small brands, you know, stuff and things, and she'll share it. She'll put on her followers' businesses. That is what YouTube in a lot of ways should be about, is that network, that connection, that communication. All of us within this network have to do better, you know? And I've spoken on this before. I'm the first person to say, like, there are things that I need to do better on. I can be slick with the lips sometimes. Y'all, listen. There are times where I'm just like, I need to say that. You know, like, there are so many things that I can work on too. There are also a lot of things that I want to do for the community that, you know, right now I just don't know how to do, you know? But when you guys actually support in more ways than just watching the video, you know? Because while that is important, there are other things that are also important, you know? It allows us to have other tools to further give back. Those of us who really do care about doing that have way more resources at our disposal, you know, to make these things happen, to create useful content, you know? And so I've been using what I have at my disposal to slowly build up the channel, to make sure that I always have some form of content that I can put out. I finally have enough saved to feel comfortable like purchasing a new computer so that I can do like actual editing without, you know, the whole computer crashing, which is a really nice feeling. And I can do that without like having an empty checking account, you know, because I'm that person, like I can have a whole bunch of money in my savings and I'll only put like a little bit of money in my checking and I'll be like, yeah, I'm broke, even though I'm not like broke, but like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. So it's like I've definitely made sure to use what I have and what I know in a way that I feel is productive, but there's so much more that could be done. And so with that, I say thank you to everyone that goes out of their way to support me. Those of you who do tag me, I don't always catch them. Like sometimes I'll catch the tag like 2 days later. Instagram is rude as hell. But I always appreciate it, even though, you know, for those that I don't necessarily get to catch when you do tag me, it's always appreciated because it makes so much of a difference. And it allows me to have access to people that I wouldn't necessarily have access to. It also allows these small brands that you want to see to have more access to, you know, promote their platforms and to market their products to you. But I will say this, I also feel like when it comes to this whole thing, which is, you know, Black owned brands and everything, like I said before, like I've been doing this, and so even though I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, yeah, like y'all are so late to the upkeep, there are things beyond, you know, another shea butter company or another hair care company that I want to see at this point, because I feel like natural hair products used to be more of a need than it is now. We've done a really good job of cornering the market and creating products for us and eliminating that need. There was a time where there was nothing, and now you can get pretty much anything that you want. And so while I love hair products and I love natural hair brands, there are other things that I want to see more of. First of all, I want to see more Black teachers. We need more Black teachers. We need more Black professors. I want to see more Black owned businesses beyond just hair products, you know? Like, I want to see Black supermarkets. Like, honestly, that's something that I'm seriously thinking about trying to invest in at one point. Like, I want to see us continue to make moves that acknowledges the disparities within our community. And we have done such a good job of closing that gap when it comes to natural hair products. I want to see us doing more because there is so much more that can be done beyond owning a hair brand. And listen, I'm not saying if that's your passion, obviously do it, but I want to encourage more of us to take that drive for entrepreneurship and look at markets that maybe you haven't thought about, because I think that in a lot of ways, the hair market is definitely becoming a little oversaturated, and that's cool. Like, it's great to have options. I love having options, even though sometimes having options is a little dangerous, especially when you are definitely a product junkie. But consider that, you know, many of you have expressed you want to start your own businesses, or you want to start your own channels and your own platforms. And consider that when you're doing that, you know, consider what it is that you want to see, what change you want to see in the world, and how you can acknowledge that. And that's something that I have really been thinking about. And I'm finally at that point where, like, I've addressed my frustration. And so I'm just moving forward, you know? And so I feel like those are all things that are really important to think about. And I really hope that a lot of you guys don't take what I just said the wrong way, but understand that what I'm saying is just that the amount of things that are asked for from small YouTubers need to be supported adequately. And I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, because, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers who will be like, oh, my views suck because y'all would rather watch challenge videos, or y'all would rather watch pranks, or, you know, I'm not getting these deals because you guys don't support me. When in actuality, a lot of those things have more to do with their inability to grow and their inability to treat their subscribers like they're actual people and have a little bit of respect for them than it has to do with their subscribers not supporting them, right? Because by and large, those people who complain, y'all are supporting them. You are. I see you guys supporting them all the time. I'm just asking you to, when you are extending those recommendations to people, remember the little guys that y'all always say you watch because you feel like they're more honest than the others, you know? Consider the fact that it does require money to keep a channel running, you know? Like for a lot of people, they're not going to break even. AdSense is not going to break you even, you know? But it's the opportunities that you get beyond, you know, being able to put ads on your videos that allow you to grow and allow you to expand, that allow you to really put into your channel and, you know, just create higher quality content that gives you the room to even create more informative content. Like, I would love, when I'm finally like in my own place, to be able to do like interview type content with different brand owners. I love videos like that. I love being able to give you guys inside scoops to things, right? But all of that comes with exposure and different levels of support. So I appreciate everybody who, you know, watches my ads all the way through and doesn't call me out of my name because I put ads on my videos. I've had that happen a lot recently. I've just been really good at deleting it. Because I mean, really, me personally, I feel like I don't have anything to feel bad about because, one, like I said, I don't think people should be working for free unless it's genuinely what they want to do. And let's be honest, that's called volunteer work. I already do lots of volunteer work on my own time. But also, I don't place the ads. Like, I just let YouTube generate it because the last time I tried to place ads on my videos, I really messed it up. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So I don't even mess with it. I just let YouTube put them on there. And if they put a crap ton of ads on there, they put a crap ton of ads on there. And if they only put 2 ads on there, you know, like, it just is what it is. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that because if YouTube is putting a lot of ads on my videos, it means to some degree that they think I'm marketable. So, to me, that's just kind of a compliment. But, you know, it's like, before you come at somebody for putting ads on their videos, think about how much money they spend putting into their channel, because I'm not over here getting products sent to me every day. Like, I have, you know, relationships with certain people who will kind of keep me stocked or whatever. But whenever I use a product that was sent to me and I didn't pay for it, I always mention it. And I'm pretty sure most of you who really watch me could count on one hand how many times I've had to mention that, you know, like it's not often. The majority of the things that I share on my channel, I buy them with my own money. I work hard and I take the money that I get from this channel and put it right back into the channel, you know? So thankfully, like, I've reached a point where I'm not having to use the money I make at my job to pay for the channel. But hopefully, like, y'all see where I'm getting that with this whole conversation, you know? Like, I want to see as a whole, every single one of us on this platform doing better, because I think just some of the things that I've seen, I feel like there's just no excuse for, you know? There's no excuse. We have the tools. There's so many things out there to keep us educated, to keep us, you know, put on when it comes to finding somebody Black, you know? And if that's something that you haven't prioritized, I feel like as a content creator, it's your job to be honest and just say that. Don't make excuses. Don't try to put it on other Black people. Just say that. I mean, it's like I said with the Urban Skin RX situation. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and tell y'all that I'm going to stop using Urban Skin RX because, one, I like the products, and 2, my skin is finicky. I don't feel like playing Russian roulette with my face. So, you know, I'm not going to put that on other people. I'm just being honest. If you haven't paid attention to who's Black and who's not or whatever, just be honest. Don't try to blame it on other people. Don't try to blame the brands, because 9 times out of 10, you probably got PR from them and you wouldn't use it because they wouldn't pay you what you wanted. And I mean, at the end of the day, charge what you feel you're worth all the time, but be honest. Just be honest. I haven't worked with these brands because I feel like I'm worth this and I can't get that. Just say it. Stop making excuses. But speaking of brands, a lot of y'all have been asking me about this whole Main Choice thing. And Courtney finally put up her video yesterday. And I'm just so proud of her. Like, she's done something that I don't think anyone has done, and definitely not in my lifetime. But first of all, it's like I don't know why she has to keep acknowledging this, but obviously she had announced a long time ago when she went public, and I guess apparently most people don't know what that means, but you can't go public. Like, you can't take your company public and it be 100% you anymore. Like, I feel like that should be common sense. That's why you can purchase, you know, stocks and that's why people can purchase shares. It's why you can have a piece of the pie, because it is public, you know? So no, it's not going to be 100% Black owned. And I feel like the only reason that I haven't had as many questions about that here on YouTube as I have in other places is because we done been talked about that, and many of you guys get that, right? But I knew that some things were in the works, and I didn't feel like it was my place to say because, you know, like, that's not my place, you know, like, that's not my livelihood. That's not the brand that I have built up. So I'm not going to take anyone's voice away from them. I'm gonna let people speak on their own terms, right? Because it's not my place. And basically, if you haven't seen the video, there's been a whole lot of hubbub about the Main Choice being acquired by Mav Beauty and people being pissed off about it, which I feel like a lot of Black people in general, we have very closed-minded views about business, and we treat other people's businesses like they're ours, even though if the business goes under, baby, you don't lose a penny, you know? Like, I'm not going to get mad at a business owner for doing what they do, what they need to do to survive, or what they feel they need to do for their business to grow. And it's like she said, you know, like, on her own, there was no way for her to allow Main Choice to have the reach that it could have if she just kept doing what she was doing, right? And I appreciate that she didn't go the whole investor route, because it's like she said, that's a whole lot of people getting a piece of your pie, you know? And as many of y'all that I know watch Shark Tank, I don't know how y'all don't understand that. But a lot of us have really closed-minded views about business, and acquisition is a huge deal. Like, I don't think that a lot of people understand that when it comes to wanting to become a household name, wanting to become a huge brand, acquisition is kind of the goal. The bigger issue is that we don't have a lot of Black investors. And those that we do have, it's like Julian mentioned in her live a few days ago, those that we do have aren't trying to invest in Black-owned companies unless they can make it theirs and change your image. And I don't fault brand owners who aren't for that. You know what I mean? So basically, Courtney is the largest shareholder in Mav Beauty. So Courtney basically is Mav Beauty at this point. And the way that she explained it was that if she remained the CEO for the Main Choice, then she would have to be the CEO for all of the other brands underneath Mav Beauty, if that makes sense. That sounds like a whole lot of work to me. I know I wouldn't do it. But she also, like she said too, just because you are the CEO does not mean you own the company. You own the company. There are a whole lot of CEOs that do not own the companies that they work for. I've met a lot of CEOs that did not own the companies that they worked for. They were appointed by the people that own the companies, right? You know, they were appointed by boards, things like that. So that is not a full indicator of ownership, but because we have so many small brands, you often see founder, owner, and CEO all in the same title because it's just that person and maybe their spouse or whatever, right? So Courtney has literally made history. Not only has she done that, but she's basically started her own conglomerate, which I think it's called Obly. You can go on her Instagram and look at this. So it has all of her private companies under there. So like Foolproof Body, Lily Frilly, all that stuff, like the Generational Advantage Fund, that's under there. And so basically she's creating a space. She has decided there aren't conglomerates like this that are run by Black people. I'm going to make it. And honestly, I just feel like if you still have all this criticism, then you're kind of just a hater, because these are the things that we keep saying we want to see from Black people, and she's finally done it. And a lot of y'all are still complaining, and I'm just like, you know what? Some of y'all are never going to be happy. But yeah, so she still is involved in the main choice, but I don't think she's going to be day-to-day anymore. I don't think it's possible for her to be day-to-day anymore. To have that much under your belt, I don't think it's possible. But basically, like, she is Mad Beauty now. Like, she's the #1 investor. She's the #1 shareholder. And unless she decides to sell those shares, like, she is Mad Beauty. So for those of you who keep asking all these questions and are so mad at Courtney, I really suggest that y'all just do your research and look at the bigger picture, because sometimes we are so hung up on feeling like these Black-owned businesses are ours that we don't think about the bigger picture. And someone in her live yesterday was like, oh, well, it's personal for us and it's business for you. And I'm like, how is it not personal for her? Like, Courtney is somebody who has always gone out of her way to pave avenues for more Black people to thrive. And so that's always been a personal mission of hers. At the end of the day, she built the main choice from the ground up. Of course, that's going to be personal, but I don't understand how a community of people who's always talking about entrepreneur this and entrepreneur that, doesn't understand that you also have to take business moves into consideration. The pathway is already there. Like, regardless of whether we like how you have to move to become big in this country, like, that is already there. Capitalism is already set in its ways. So clearly we're not creating a whole nother game. You got to play it better than the people who have already laid it out have been playing it. And that's what she's doing. But she's also doing it in such a way that it is directly going to improve the lives of Black people. So when our favorite Black-owned businesses get big, they are going to have the opportunity to be underneath a conglomerate that is run by someone that's Black. And that is an opportunity that we have not had. And I don't see how you can be more worried about silicones and 2 products than you can be about how historic this is, how big of a deal this is. Like, I don't see how that can be your biggest concern when this woman literally just made a way to put so many Black people on the map. Because if you are someone who wants to start your own business, like, that is huge. So it's just crazy to me how much negativity we feed into our communities as Black people, and how much we feel like our own personal interests should overshadow the work of other people. And at the end of the day, like, it shouldn't. Like, I understand we're all allowed to have our standards, but at the end of the day, when it comes to bigger picture stuff like this, I feel like this is just more important. Like, I feel like this is way more important than being an ingredient snob. But she's also said, like, there's no intention to change any of the existing formulas. So that's something that we have been told that we don't have to worry about. I have this one, like, a little Michael Jackson curl that just want to just do that. It's actually kind of a look, though. Like, I'm not mad at it. But it's just, my widow's peak has really grown out. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so she has no intention of allowing things to change in terms of formula unless she feels like it needs to be changed. And if it's working, I don't see her changing anything anytime soon. Am I gonna stop buying Main Choice? Hell no. Because at this point, like, I feel like, how could I not support when this woman basically is Mav now? Like, how could I not support? Like, if that doesn't, I don't know, like, if that doesn't just make you feel really damn good, like, she took the plunge and the risk of going public and in a way kind of got it all back. Like, if you're not impressed by that, and if you're not empowered by that as a Black person, then I just feel like you're just not paying attention. And I feel like you're maybe just kind of stubborn and you just want to care about the things that you care about, which are, it's fine. But you can't expect every single Black brand to operate in the way you want them to, because at the end of the day, it's not your brand. You can feel a sense of pride and ownership in using these brands, but at the end of the day, if that brand fails or succeeds, it does not affect you monetarily. It does not affect your pockets, and it does not affect your life. And so when it comes to that, like, I'm not going to be mad at a brand for doing what they need to do, but for her to make a decision that, first of all, not a lot of businesses get to make in the first place, and like, not every brand out here is getting acquired, whether it's, you know, white owned, Black owned, just minority owned in general. But to be able to do that in the first place, and then to become acquired, to go public, and then turn around and kind of take it all back, that's a big deal. And if, you know, like, I just don't see how you couldn't be proud of her. Like, you have to be just stuck in your ways if you're not proud. I just had a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you about. And some of these things I've been meaning to talk about, but then I turn on the camera and I forget to talk about them, you know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys, you know, feel where I'm coming from. Like, always know that when I talk to you guys about things like this, I'm coming from a place of wanting to see our communities grow, and wanting to see, like, our communities in terms of influencing grow as well. Because as much work as us Black folks do on YouTube and on Instagram, we don't get half the play that we deserve. And I want to see us working on bringing each other up more, so that we can be in a position to have the same opportunities and to do the same work that people who don't look like us have, you know? I'm so tired of people being able to profit off of this community, but we don't get to profit off of it the same way, you know what I mean? And I also feel like what Courtney is doing is also going to make that easier for us too. So also, like, any ideas that you guys have for, you know, charity on a smaller scale. Like, obviously I donate a lot of my money already. I sign a lot of petitions. I've been doing it. But for those kind of charity movements for YouTube, if you have any ideas, leave them here, because kind of what I've wanted to do was just like kind of do like a charity wheel. Like, we have a different number of charities and we put it on a wheel and we spin it and we decide what, and that will decide what charity gets all the AdSense revenue from that video. And I would also love to partner with other brands to match the AdSense, if that makes sense. I want to try to maximize how much we can donate as a community. I don't want to be one of those people who is not trying to be able to give as much as possible, you know? So if you have any ideas, let me know, because as we continue to grow, it gives me more of an opportunity to generate more money for that, you know what I mean? So y'all just let me know if you have any ideas, because I feel like we all, a lot of you guys bring really, really great ideas to the channel, and I love that. Some of y'all need to have your own channels, because some of y'all be having some bomb ideas. So a lot of you guys give me really great ideas for the channel. So I'm really excited that we're growing, because I've always known that as I grew, I wanted to be able to give more back. And so lately I've just been using my own money to donate, but I would love to be able to just generate revenue through all of us that way, so that we can give back especially not having to worry about soliciting you guys, just being able to ask you guys to watch the ads and knowing that we can give lots of money back. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me rant. Also, if you have not tried the Tahiti cocktail collection, you need to. Y'all know I love She Sent It. They're supposed to be dropping new products, but I don't know when. I know Rona has really messed people up with packaging and, you know, just accessibility and all that stuff. So keep an eye out because their summer collections stay lit. Like the summer collections stay lit. But yeah, if you haven't tried these products, I mean, y'all see how good my hair looks. Y'all gotta try it. And if you want more information on these products, I do have a video that I will link up in the cards above. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me rant. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.